What if pain isn't the problem, but actually the pathway back to you? You're listening to The Leadership Wound, From Pain to Permission. I'm Amanda Rohr, your host and founder of Authentically You, coaching for embodied spiritual living and leading. This is where we get honest about the real cost of leadership, the burnout, the pretending, the rejection, and the return to your authentic self. Because this isn't about performance, it's about permission. Welcome to the leader you've always been.
When you think about it, a river doesn't strive. It doesn't question whether it's doing enough or moving fast enough. It simply flows. It responds to gravity, yielding to the shape of the land, always finding its way forward. And that's what the I already have principle teaches us to do. To live in the rhythm of trust instead of tension. To trust the slow process of God in our lives. And to let go of striving and start surrendering to the current of grace that's already carrying us forward. Welcome back to The Leadership Wound. I'm Amanda Rohr, your host and founder of Authentically You, coaching for embodied spiritual living and leading. This podcast explores the hidden cost of leadership, the places where we've been stretched, shaped, and invited to return to a more authentic way of living and leading. Today we close our series entitled, Everything I Need is Already Here, living the I already have principle with a final rhythm, and that is the river, living in the flow of what's already true. The river has been part of this story all along. With each rhythm, pause, return, and embody, we explored another way the I already have principle can affect our daily lives. But the river, today's episode, is different. It's not about stepping in anymore. It's about learning to stay in the river, to live in the steady current of what's already true, to stop resisting the movement of grace and allow it to carry you where you're meant to go. John Mark Comer says, it's here, looking at God and God looking at us in love, that we are most free, content, at rest, at ease, grateful, joy-filled, and alive. It's here when we're in the presence of God. The river is that place. It's the continual awareness of God's presence, where love becomes not just something we visit, but something we live within on a daily basis. When you think about it, a river doesn't strive. It doesn't question whether it's doing enough or moving fast enough. It simply flows. It responds to gravity, yielding to the shape of the land, always finding its way forward. And that's what the I already have principle teaches us to do. To live in the rhythm of trust instead of tension. To trust the slow process of God in our lives. And to let go of striving and start surrendering to the current of grace that's already carrying us forward. When you stop fighting the flow, peace becomes your natural state. Not something you visit on retreat, but something you carry into Monday morning meetings and everyday moments of chaos. For leaders, this is the invitation to lead from the river, from inside the river, not on the banks of the river, and not from the reservoir that's constantly running dry. Because when we lead from the river, we don't have to manufacture momentum or control outcomes. We become conduits of what's already moving through us, His grace, His wisdom, His creativity, and His compassion. We're no longer the source. We're actually the expression. This is where leadership shifts from performance to participation, from effort to embodiment, from pressure to peace. When our actions and awareness merge, when we're fully present in the moment, our brain enters a state of flow. And in that state, time seems slow. Creativity expands and fear quiets because you're working from a state of abundance and not scarcity. The same is true in our spiritual lives. When we stop trying to force the outcome and instead flow with what God is already doing, our inner life comes into harmony. We begin to see what has always been available, but often overlooked. And suddenly what felt like striving becomes a sacred rhythm. I can think back to the early days of my leadership, the pressure, the exhaustion, the need to prove I was doing enough. Every decision felt like I was swimming upstream. But the longer I walk with God, the more I've learned. The current of His goodness doesn't need my control. It needs my trust. When I pause and return and embody that reality, I remember the river has been flowing the whole time. I just had to stay in it and not leave it. Because that's where renewal happens, in the river. That's where I stop performing and I start participating in the flow of grace. There's a prayer I often come back to, a simple grounding rhythm that helps me stay in the flow of God's love, especially on those days that feel unpredictable or heavy. It's called the welcome prayer. It's a way of welcoming whatever the day brings. Yes, the interruptions, the challenges, the unknowns, and the things that you didn't plan for. And trusting that God can use it all for my good. If you're willing, I'd like to lead you in that reflection today. So find a quiet place, maybe close your eyes and open your hands as a symbol of surrender. The welcome prayer. God, I welcome everything that comes to me today. I welcome your presence in all that it unfolds. I welcome the Holy Spirit to guide me through it all. I let go of my need to control, to fix, to understand, and I trust you. I trust your process. I trust that no matter what comes my way, you will use it in my life for good, for my growth, for your glory, and for the good of your kingdom. I rest in the river of your abundance, knowing that you are enough and that everything I need has already been given. You can come back to this prayer anytime you need, when anxiety rises, when your plans shift beyond what you anticipated, and when life feels too fast. The welcome prayer is a way of returning to the current of God's love, mercy, and grace, and remembering that the river is always available to you. If you have time this week, I'd encourage you to grab a pen and paper and write down these reflection questions and spend time reflecting on these questions. Where in your life are you still fighting the current, trying to control what's meant to just flow? Trying to control people or outcomes? What would it look like to lead from the river instead of from resistance? And how can you stay more aware of the flow of grace in your daily life? Psalms 46, 4-5 says, "There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day." The river isn't just imagery, it's the rhythm of life with God, a flow that carries you through both joy and difficulty, and always towards renewal. This is the heart of the I already have principle. Everything you need has already been given. You don't have to fight for it, you don't have to earn it, you just have to stay in the flow of it. Because when you live from that place, from trust instead of control, from peace instead of pressure, your leadership becomes an extension of grace itself. And that's when the truth you've always believed finally becomes the life you actually live. Thanks for joining me in this series of the I Already Have principle. If this rhythm has spoken to you, I invite you to keep living from that flow, to keep pausing and keep returning and embodying what's already true. You can explore all of my signature coaching packages at authenticleadershipcollective.com. Each one is designed to help you remain in the flow of God's river of love, mercy, and grace, to help you live and lead from sufficiency and abundance, and to live and lead authentically. If you're ready to start the conversation and start living and leading authentically, book your free 30-minute call at authenticleadershipcollective.com. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and lead like you.